Before this video starts, I want to say at least 3 things before this goes. So number 1, I don't know poetry that good. I mean, I wish I did, and if I did, it would be good, because yeah. Number 2, all the research I'm about to say 100% true. I'm not lying about anything. I not have anything. And number 3, this might be a part 2. It might not be part 3. Who knows? Anyway, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you. Poetry is dead. Did you guess right? Well, you're both wrong. It's either of these two. These are actually just songs. You see, it doesn't matter how poetry looks. If we write like that, you're probably gonna get confused. But still, I'm not saying a line is like you can't use it. Well, you can use the align thing. We all use it. different in language or form and musical musicianship. But that was just some of the similarities of what they have. Now, a more deeper thing, what kind of similarities do they have? It's just this. Basically, the similarity would be like rhythm or and rhyme, like the whole AABB or ABAB thing. Now they have that in poetry, and it does look boring in poetry standards, but in rap, that does keep the music going and flow. And I'm losing my own script because I actually wrote a script that's 3 pages. But what are the differences to the yin and yang to poetry rap? Well, language which is self-explanatory with a lot of rap songs, and the other thing in musical applications, which basically means rap often includes music, while poetry does not. Because poetry was never meant to be used as musician music or music sheets. You know, it was just supposed to be about like poetry in general. Where it was. But still, there are some people out there who think that rap poetry is rap. You know, but sadly, that's not the case. So hindsight, some rap are considered poetry, but not all rap is considered poetry. And before you go out there and say Tupac's poetic, no, he's not. Tupac, Ice Cube, Eminem, Snoop Dogg, they're not poetry writers. Okay, they're just rap singers, and really good with that. So now you know what modern poetry is. So let's all hop in our DeLorean and let's go back to the 1600s and 1900s in the Elizabethan era to where classic poetry was really cool. So classic poetry, they passed down the era of culture. I know I said one culture area, but you know, that just to give you an idea of where we are. Had distinct characteristics, but some common themes and style ran through. Much of much of it had like some sorry, I got someone else. There are some key aspects of classic poetry. One, form, structure, and rhythm. Many classic poems follow a strict meter like limbic plantar and rhythm schemes, as we said before, AABB, and ABAB. That is some of the rhythm schemes. Sonnets like Shakespeare, epic poems like Homer, Lad, and Odians like Keats and the Nightingale all had set structures. Basically, that's one of the reasons why I learned about them in history class or in English class, for one matter. Number two, evidence, language, and theme. Classic poetry often explored themes like love, nature, origin, fate, and mortality. Which basically is love, all like that means that the reason why we write girls in our poems, you know? And use lofty, read, line language, often with metaphor and allusion to mythology or history. So that shows why Greek gods were usually in poetry. Number three, storytelling. Narrative poetry. Many classic poems were epic or narrative poems, telling great tales of gods, warriors, and narrative, such as Bountiful and the Divine Comedy. Paeans, another form of storytelling poetry, were more song-like and often about romance or tragedy, which also shows another reason why people thought rap can be about poetry. Number four, emotion and beauty. Romantic poets like Wordsworth and Shelley and Bayram refuse a force on personal feelings and natural beauty. Like that shows the reason why they wrote women in beauty. And earlier poets like Shepard or Harkland also wrote literal poetry about love, loss, and human experiences. Now, while this is all true, I guess this is like some of the reasons why people think that what I said about modern poetry is true, which modern poetry sucks. Mortality and physiology. Many classic poets use poetry in a way to reflect on human nature, words, and wisdom. Poets like Virgil, Munt, and Pope often combine physiology, religion, and moral lessons in their work. Basically, saying that the Bible can be like classified into poetry, which it is. And that are just some of the beautiful stuff they had back then. So overall, what does So overall, that is what the difference between classical poetry and modern poetry is. And now it's time to get into a really good question. What does classical poetry have that modern poetry does not? Well, classic, classical poetry often had a few defined features that modern poetry tends to abandon or reinterpret, I guess. And here are some key differences. Number one, rhythm and meter. Classic poetry, strict forms like sonnet or hook couples, with a force or rhyme scheme and rhythm patterns like scheme and rhythm patterns like parliamentary, for example, meaning that they heavily force on a rhythm to keep going with the poetry. Modern poetry, fierce, French structured, often written in free verses with little to no concept means rhythm, meaning that they didn't really think about the rhythm that was going to be. 2. Formal structure. Classical poetry follows tradition structure like the Shakespearean concept, that Byzantine, or epic. Now, basically that means that they followed a strict code to what to do, I think. And all structured thing, like the aligned thing, that's the story structure goes. Modern poetry often experimented, breaking away from traditional structure to explore more personal, prevalent, or abstractive forms. Meaning that they're trying to go to a different way than what other people are trying to write. Because they're always trying to improve how other people did it. Number three, element, language, and themes. Classic poetry used grand, elevated dissent, and explored universal themes like fundamental faith, love, and nature. And modern poetry, more potential, intricate, and commercial, often tackling contemporary issues like identity, mental health, and social justice. Because back then, they just, they would love that. But living in modern times like now, how we deal with identity crises, mental health issues, and how we all want to be equal. And that is where we are stopping today, because holy cow, that's a lot of words. So I want to talk a little bit about all of this. So number one, I don't know poetry that good. Okay, there is a poetry class that you can take at my school, and some of my good friends are in that class. Now I'm not in that class, and overall that. So what we're gonna talk about in the next video. Next video, I'm gonna finish talking about what we're talking about right now, and then overall I'm gonna give my final thoughts about it all. So that means that part two is gonna be a little short. Sadly, I don't know why, but at the start of this video, I'm not gonna take too long to talk about this. But I'm guessing it didn't go. I hope I'm not. I hope I didn't go too fast. Hopefully, this shine a little light on poetry. Maybe you can go show off to your friends. And sadly, if you look right here on this meter thing, you're gonna see that it's really like non-subscribe. Like more of you guys are non-subscribers do not subscribe. So I hope you guys subscribe. This did take a long time. This took a week to write about. And next video will be going up. So this video right now. So today's like Monday. The next video will be coming up on Wednesday. Thank you. And that is just the first part of Poetry Dead. I did not tell you. I did not tell you the answer. Did I tell you? Yeah, I did not tell you guys the answer. I will tell you guys the answer to this video tomorrow, and I'll give you the real answer of what has happened to poetry.